kill pressure, though, switching to the Leona rather than going with the Janna. So I actually would expect more out of Rush this time around on the Elise. There's a lot more opportunities for him. He can go bottom lane, combo with the Leona. He can still go top lane. Shen can set up a guaranteed cocoon to land. And even though Shen doesn't provide a whole bunch of early game damage, Elise brings plenty herself.
Lulu
wow. Okay, so they shift the support role up to Gate for the Kog'Maw.
Yeah, it's a little Juggernaut-y, but it also has a tank top laner. So traditionally you'd put the Lulu in the top lane. This one, though, is a little bit lower damage. It's almost like a mid-game power spiking composition right here.
Yeah.
And heavily putting the pressure, onto Apollo in this game.
Well, that's weird, though, because Impulse actually stalled out in the mid-game last time off of a sizable lead. They were up around 2,000 to 3,000 gold in the 20-ish minute mark when they got the first blood, and then failed to get much farther. It's weird they put all their eggs in that basket. One
thing I actually do really like about this Lulu pick, though, is if we're looking at the amount of damage that Dignitas can actually throw onto the target, Kassadin, Gnar, I don't know if that's, and Lucian, I don't know if that's enough to break through a Shen and a mid-Lulu shield. Even if Apollo is completely out of position, they might not be able to kill him.
That's a fair point. Yeah, if the damage is not high, and of course, Team Dignitas ready to get into this game too here with an interesting comp themselves, and we get to see the Nidalee come out from Helios. We can see if he puts on the carry pants this one. Normally was not so farm heavy, but guys at home, please keep sharing your series predictions. Tweet hashtag DIG win or hashtag TIP win to @LOL Esports over on Twitter. We'll update the fan vote once we are back on the Rift. There's the team comps on your screen. We're getting ourselves ready to get into the game. Game 2, Impulse 1, Game 1. It's time for Dignitas. We'll see if they can fire back. It's best of 5.
Very interesting opening here because Impulse are bringing a lot more playmaking ability with swapping their support over to Leona, but they are losing out on late game damage because they don't have the Azir to rely on as well as the Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
So much weight on Apollo's shoulders.
All right, we'll see if the team comp can work out here. Rush back on the Elise. Analysts tested they weren't completely convinced, but maybe it works out a bit better. Shifter, of course, on the Kassadin, set up to do a lot this game, and he says he's got a lot to prove in the playoffs to bring his team beyond.
Well, I've been in the scene for a long time. I'm pretty used to the best of 5 format, especially all the times I've been in the relegation. I've been at those high pressure situations, so I wouldn't say I'm nervous, but I think I have a lot to prove, I guess, as a player, because I've kind of fallen off the radar as a top mid laner in NA. So playoffs isn't just an opportunity for me to prove that, Dignitas is the top team in NA. It's just an opportunity for me to prove that I'm still a top mid laner in NA as well.
Oh, Core JJ caught out.
And the Braum Q misses as well, but it looks like there's not quite enough auto attacks down.
Plenty of time for him to go heal, actually, so that will mean nothing for either team. Both teams with defensive wards set up in the meantime as well during the pip stop.
I do want to speak to Shifter's Kassadin a little bit. Obviously, Kassadin has been changed as a champion. He's no longer as blatantly overpowered as he was back in Season 3. But it had been one of Shifter's best champions by far back then, because when he was on Coast back in the Challenger Series, they won pretty much every game he'd play Kassadin. He had decent enough lane pressure. Shifter's always been really good at not dying in lane, sometimes to his detriment because it gives up CS disadvantages, but his roaming skills on Kassadin were so good that he could almost snowball the majority of games he was in with, and I wonder if he's going to be able to roam this one and help him, and that's pretty much, I feel like, the only way Team Dignitas takes this.
Yeah, I don't think that he is going to be able to, just because Lulu has so much more wave control than Kassadin does early. Gate should be able to take control of this lane, and that means that he should be enabling Rush to make more early game moves as well. Both bottom lanes actually ending up in the bottom lane this time around for standard lane setups, which also could aid Rush in some early moves. Now, the Nidalee Elise matchup is really interesting and definitely depends on which jungler gets the initiative. Either one getting the opener is huge for them. Spear landing or Cocoon landing basically decides the entire skirmish.
And it's much different than the previous matchup, which was Elise versus Echo, because Nidalee's clear speed is somewhat unmatched in the early game. Even though Elise can clear quickly, pre-Runeglaive, I think Nidalee clears faster than Elise. So Rush now a little bit on the back foot as far as clear speed goes, and we'll have to see if Helios can then become the aggressor instead of just playing good defense like he did last game.
So far, so good. Helios is slightly faster on this one. They're going to end their jungle routes on opposite sides of the map. As we talked about, Crumb said, you know, Elise having some gank pressure in her lanes. Well, actually, Lulu and Leona both actually fairly solid in that regard, so we might get to see some of that trademark rush aggression.
Well, here comes the first jungle invade. Rush going to head down to a bottom lane gank. Highest probability here. Gets in behind them. Remember, the Leona swap was the big change here for Impulse. They want to utilize that CC from the support role.
Ooh, good flash by him. Exhaust still on, though. Goodbye. Nothing else for QuartJ to do. And they get the first blood. Goes to Elise. Not a bad target for it. All said and done. First blood, Team Impulse.
Yep, just as we said. Trying to utilize. They made one change in Champion Select.
Yeah, Crumbs also mentioned that these teams are probably going to be a little bit frustrated that they weren't able to get much aggression, maybe playing too passively. You see it from the Champion Select as well as Adrian's flashing in for the point-blank stun on there. Team Impulse is ready to fight this game, and they're wanting to force numerous fights. I love Adrian on Leona. You can tell he's so experienced with the champion. Hasn't played it in competitive in over 4 months, but it's an example right there of what he can do.
You know, it's funny. We talked about the low ward kill stat from Rush, and he says, I don't need to kill wards, I just go where they aren't. That's exactly what happened. Adrian calls out where the river ward was. He just goes through the red buff, shows up unannounced, gets the kill. If he can do it, then who needs to kill wards?
Meanwhile, Helios did take an extra camp. He was just farming harder. Double Summoner's Bone there for QuartJ on the Lucian, though. And it gets scary for him from here on out. Luckily for him, though, the kill did go over to Rush, so it won't be in his lane immediately. And some extra vision might be able to keep Rush away. Here comes Helios to try and counter game, but not much on the table for him. Let's see if Impulse do go aggressive.
Yeah, I really wonder about the timing of this gank by Helios. Just logically speaking, Apollo hasn't shopped yet, so they know QuartJ has an item disadvantage. They have wards in the river, so there's no way that Rush is sneaking around the back again. The only way it's a counter gank is if Rush comes through the lane, and it seems unlikely that Impulse would go aggressive.
Ooh, barely dodges the skill shot. Still gets stunned up, though. Ignite is on as well. Apollo running for his life.
Oh, Adrian re-engages. No backup on the way, though, and he just takes a lot of damage for it.
From passes setting up. Oh, another Q hits Apollo.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they were able to get so much out of that gank, nearly nanning a kill. Apollo really walking up aggressively despite still just sitting on his Dorans and having no jungle backup anywhere. Almost cost him a kill.
Does even out the summoner spells at the very least in the bottom lane. Rush looking for another fight here. Does he step on the trap? Yes, he does. Usually, if I step on a trap like that in the enemy jungle, I start running immediately, because you never, because he has no vision. The spear could come out of anywhere. He was in human form as well. No spiderlings to block it, but the spear does not land.
That's interesting to note. I don't believe the Hunt debuff shows up unless Nidalee was nearby. Granted, she was shown bottom lane, but I think by having the Hunt debuff, he also reaffirms that Helios in bot lane. They're going to stay safe for now. Bit of damage on a QuartJ, but no really big overextension. Of course, again, as a flashless Kog'Maw with exhaust is up, though, to keep things safe. But Apollo really just needs to back and buy a Phage machine or something. Rushes around. The E comes in. They want Kiwi Kid. Goes right back out there. Adrian gets stunned up, takes some damage. There's a penalty. They want this fight after all. Teleport comes in, though. Gamsu is going to arrive. Who goes down first? It is not Kiwi Kid. Ooh. They don't get the damage. They don't get the damage, but there's still time to get to the turret. Impact has the aggro. Gamsu canceled his teleport, didn't show up after all. I'm not sure he should have canceled.
Yeah,
that would have picked up kills there.
Yeah, that was a very interesting choice right there. They kind of dove really hard. They stick around. No,
Helios! Didn't see that one coming. Cocoon to the death. Impulse just walk away.
Just walk away sometimes. Sometimes you just got to walk away. They had no vision in the brushes. Gamsu will be pushing up the top lane, but that was an ill-advised move.
Yeah, Gamsu canceled it all on his own and went back and watched the rewind.
He had flank position too.
Yeah.
Full health, level 7 now. He hadn't shopped, but neither had Shen or Kog'Maw.
He had a bit of Rage Bar building up as well, but doesn't pull the trigger. And Dignitas do go down, giving up kill in the bottom lane.
Very strange.
Maybe some miscommunication.
Yeah. All right, let's try and figure out here if the teleport cancel was because the fact that Team Impulse got so many turret dives on meant that they were pretty strong coming in.
Okay, so Apollo probably would have died. Rush already used his cocoon, and Apollo doesn't have any summoners.
Thing is, I see Core JJ and Helios being completely out of mana. Team Impulse could have just turned back and 1v4'd the Gnar. Maybe they trade kills, but I feel like that teleport actually would have been near certain death. Either way, that's the actual certain
death. Yeah, exactly. That's the play that mattered.
Man, I'm surprised. Yeah, Impulse all at like 1/4 health all stayed in that brush together. And they realized that they weren't really in danger being there. And the overextension by Helios. Yeah, I mean, very smart. That was an aggressive move that paid off there, being in a forward position. So 2-0 in kills and a nearly 2,000 gold lead. Impulse seemingly relying on a strong mid game, and that early game setting up well for it. Yes, he's still playing somewhat aggressively up the top side, even though he had some free time up there. We just saw Impact teleport back to the top lane turret to collect the farm, not fall too far behind.
Oh, Apollo level 6 in the bottom lane too. With that CS advantage and the early sheen once again, Core JJ is going to have a really rough time heads up in this lane. And the constant threat of kill pressure from Adrian is huge. Leona also level 6. Oh, and they've got a pink ward there, setting up an easy avenue for Rush. So bottom lane for Dignitas now has to play really defensively, even when Shen Ultimate is not up.
Shifter looking to roam.
And Shadow Dash is already down. There are no escapes left for Impact. Ignite comes in. He's going to go down. A kill goes over to Gamsu. Nicely dove.
There's your fifth Shifter roam.
It's incredibly important that roam worked for Shifter as well. Rush, though, 1v3, kinda.
Ulti in for Kiwi Kid. The stun is dodged by Repel, but still gets hit up by the passive.
Shen's back up. They can go.
Ulti by Adrian, and they get one back. It's actually mid lane turret going down to Gate, and now the push keeps going on. Low health on Adrian. Gate finally showing up. Flashes, gets the wild growth. Adrian did not have to flash out, though. Miscommunication. Helios will walk away.
Didn't tell Adrian that he was on the way. The fight continues, though.
Shen has ulti.
Circle around.
Now Shen is actually alive to use the ulti.
There's the teleport, does get canceled again.
But now they can dive, because it's a 4v2. That one should have completed.
Pressed the button in the first place, but he's going to cancel right away. Nowhere to go. Helios gets taken out by Gate. Assist goes to the Kog'Maw. Core JJ for certain dead. Tries to get some damage. Does not quite kill off Apollo. It was close, but a double kill for Gate.
Okay, so first teleport cancel, probably a good idea after reviewing.
Agreed.
Second one, though,
bad idea.
would have stopped that dive.
Yeah, most likely. A full health Gnar under the turret, even if your other two are low, you can defend that 3v4. But he knew there were 4 people coming down there. The Shen ult was guaranteeing it, and then you could tell they didn't even try to hide under the turret because they knew it was certain death. Now Gate has been able to kind of answer Shifter's one roam. We mentioned Shifter needing to get the roam. He was already losing in CS. Now, since he didn't even get the kill, Gates, every time he goes back to that lane, he can instantly shove it in, almost no fear of counterattack. It's looking pretty grim for Team Dignitas here.
Again, worth pointing out that mid lane outer turret went down to Gate. The roam by Shifter got a kill. His roams around the map were fine, but Gate showed up late to that fight to knock down a turret, get further gold for his team. He's very far ahead now, highest CS in the game as well. And, yeah, Gate and this Lulu, the early game pressure working out, winning lane.
Yeah, and with all this weight on Apollo's shoulders as well, 104, not doing too shabby, second highest CS for him as well. Everything going really well for Impulse in the early stages.
Yeah, I mean, even though Apollo did get the kill early on in the game with the gank, if you're running a Juggernaut composition and your bottom lane gets summoner spells and a kill early on in the game, that just sets you up for so much success. Also, when you're considering your Lulu, who needs to do pretty well in this team composition in order to provide the right type of shielding, had what was almost a free lane against Shifter's Kassadin.
Yeah.
These things are going very well.
What do you do? What do you do as a Brutalizer Lucian against Trinity Force completed Kog'Maw? He activates W and 2 hits and you forces you out of lane.
Yeah, run away.
You're one ult lands
swap
on your head and you gotta
like,
run for the hills.
This is what happens at AD carries because BF Sword costs so much money. You just get really bad recalls sometimes. Core's first recall, Pickaxe. That's acceptable. So it happens, whatever. His second recall, longsword, and he's like, well, now I'm screwed.
No, his first recall was longsword because he died.
Oh, it was that early?
So he was almost trapped into this build a little bit if he wanted to go that direction.
Well, it is attracting a lot of attention from the junglers, both revisiting the bottom lane, and they should be able to at least clear out pink ward vision in the tribe rush. It's also a little mind game trick that you can have, doubling up pink wards and green wards in the same spot.
Oh, yeah.
If someone clears a pink ward, they rarely think that you have also green warded there. So if you really want vision on a place, drop 2, and people will usually not sweep it as well.
All right. Well, Dragon number 1 goes over to Impulse. Slightly early Smite Fire Rush, but shouldn't be too bad for him. Apollo actually still sitting at 100% kill participation for the series. He's 15 of 15 so far for Team Impulse. Highest, pretty good, in the overall series as a whole.
80 carry picking up pink ward even.
Yeah! Making up for Rush.
Somewhat of a rarity, actually, having 80 carries pick up pink wards. Most 80
Always have
carries,
at least one.
most 80 carries have under 10 pink wards purchased on the split in North America.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Even I buy more words than that.
I mean, they place wards, just pinks, not particularly.
I've seen Sneaky sell his boots to buy a pink ward, so that is commitment.
I remember when Krepa was here last year, he yelled at 80
now that I
not
say
selling
that,
Norns
I
for
remember
you.
looking at the stat. Now that I say that, I'm not 100% sure. So I will check after this game or have someone check for me during the game and confirm that stat. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
If it's right, then I'm not sorry.
Sorry, not
What
sorry.
kind of Canadian are you?
All right, Jack.
Sorry.
Well, Team Impulse not feeling sorry about this one, though. They bet in the mid game, and it's actually going quite well for them here. Gate still feeling solid on Pool Party Lulu in the mid lane here. Roles get swapped around, though. Bottom lane outer turret's already dead, so let's go send the Wrecking Ball of Apollo to the top side here. Trinity Force plus some attack speed.
Yeah, it's not just him either. They're sending backup in the form of Rush just in case. Every time this bottom lane pushes out, Rush comes through for a lane gank as well.
He's again going for Rylays. It's a giant spell plus an amp tome.
Yeah, it's that strategy of I bring so much power that we're not afraid of a counter gank. Yes, we don't have a defensive support. We have a low mobility 80 carry, but we send so much and front load the power up to the top lane here. They're just going to bully off.
That's a
Dignitas.
Meganar. Nice job.
He's going to get 2 men stunned. Shenalty popped in. Here we go. It's a 4 versus 3 right now. Slow only lands on the Kiwi Kid. Rush has aggro still.
He can't
Rush is
get
going to die for this one. Gate can't. Okay, he's fine. He got a summon or heal. Apollo does everything for this team.
The cooldown is still substantial on his transformation there. Can't come out of spider form and go right back into it to repel.
This is such a tanky Team Impulse team. The Shen, the Leona arm and magic resist, the shields they can get from Gate, the Cinder Hulk Elise that has an early giant spell. They just manhandle, brute force that. That was not clean by any sense. They got 3-man Gnar ulted, they ate most of the Nidalee Spears, and they get a kill.
YOLO, you can't do enough damage to us. Corey-J's the wrong side, and Shifter is just small. He's on a pretty much 0-stack rod of mages. Now Impact just gonna, is he taking damage? I don't think he's taking damage. Corey-J gonna flash the wall. Make sure he goes like far enough down that he can't miss it.
Yeah, to add insult to injury, Corey sitting on 1,700 gold, so definitely not strong enough to fight the level 11 Shen.
Yeah. PS would have helped some, but now Gate actually putting some damage on Shifter.
Impact just brings so much map control to this team.
Yeah.
Constantly swapping back and forth between the side lanes. And Gamsu has had a really difficult time keeping up. Second guessing his teleports.
Yeah.
Not the best communication. Impact not hesitating though, instantly ulting up to top side and teleporting back down bottom to catch the wave.
Yeah. Second time he's done that. It's why top laner Shen still does bring teleport. Just the map mobility matters that much. So solid stuff by the Impulse lineup. Impact's just fine playing a supportive role. Letting someone else deal the damage, and it's working out here. Looking very solid into game 2. Rush even picking up Sightstone. Playing a more vision-focused game. Playing a Cinderhulk champion and doing well on it.
Yeah, he builds up this huge health pool really early. With the Cinder Hulk and going straight into a bunch of health items that just looks really intimidating. Sometimes even if you don't have the resistances to back up your health, having that many little bars on your health bar dissuades people from focusing you just because they think it won't be worth their time, even if they can cut through low resistances.
All right, so what's next on the plate for Team Impulse? We've already knocked down all 3 outer turrets by 18 minutes. They're only sitting on 1 dragon. They've got quite a ways to go if they want to keep this lead pushing up. 5,000 lead, 18 minutes in, definitely sizable. But they've really only got 1 late game carry here, and that can always be a risk as you go on.
Yeah, still at this point in the game, though, Lulu is a significant portion of damage. Because she's just maxing out her Q. Does have... Oh,
Shifter down quite low, gets away cleanly. Turret does go down, but there's still some damage coming across. Javelin lands. There's the engage bunch onto Apollo. He goes down. They pick up the primary AD carry, and Adrian now playing with defensive CC, but a double kill for Core JJ.
Yeah, Gate was not there in order to shield.
Uh-oh, he loses move speed, transferring into human form here.
Oh,
nice shot!
And that's going to hit him too. Helios from downtown lands the javelin. Good setup for Gamsu. Now Impact is
he's surrounded.
This is very similar to the turnaround we saw in Game 1. Team Impulse growing a lead with them. Team Dignitas making a play on Team Impulse overextension. Still a lead, though, for Impulse because of how far ahead they were.
3 kills picked up for a tier 2 turret, though. Doesn't feel too bad. Maybe can pick something else up. Yeah,
I mean, watching this one, Gate just so far away from home. Look where he is on the minimap before this fight begins. So yeah, they get the Shen ult, but because they burst him hard enough, the Shen doesn't come into this fight to disrupt anything, and their damage sources are completely gone. Kog'Maw dead, their secondary damage source, Lulu, not there, and Shen can't make it, so a total whitewash there for Team Dignitas.
Kog'Maw without a support champion next to him. Easy pickings there for Team Dignitas. Quick recovery from Impulse, though, because they have such a substantial lead. Plus, they still have 2 of their outer turrets remaining, and it's enough for them to grab the 2nd dragon here, which is important to keep them training dragons this game. When you don't have the Azir late game damage to rely upon, definitely need to keep up the dragon stacking in case you do have to go that late. The other thing, you talk about how tanky this Impulse squad is. It's also a side effect of them keeping the AD carry of the opposing squad down so much. Yeah, low damage output exacerbates that issue.
Double kill helps a fair bit for JJ, though.
Yeah, he's only 500 gold down. He's only 500 gold down behind Apollo. Sorry to cut you off, Chad, but certainly Core JJ can be a threat. Maybe, actually, I feel like you're unlikely to see Zeke's on Kiwi Kid, but maybe he goes for that after what looks like Aegis as his first major purchase.
It will be late. Same for Adrian, though. Maybe we see it on Gate. Is a mid lane item as Alex.
Alex Itch ran it 3 games in a row in the Challenger Series semifinal.
As shown.
A solid choice.
You know, on Lulu, actually, being a sport champion herself anyway would make a decent amount of sense.
Yeah, any low cooldown mage is going to get stacks really, really fast. She cares about the raw IP, cares about 10% CDR. I don't know, there's a chance we see it. But
the more we talk about it, the more I want it.
I know.
Gate,
it's really good. I think it's super strong, actually.
I think it would be perfect here.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice as a mid laner because as a support item, you get the attack damage and ability power boost on yourself and then Link, but that's really just for your Link. But if you do it on a mid laner who already has a lot of AP, you're almost doubling the active power of that item, which is why it's actually a really cool thing to do on the more supportive mid laners like Orianna and Lulu.
I mean, Lulu just seems like the perfect one. All right. Anyways, in the bottom lane, Gamsu doing work on the turret.
And he's almost going to knock it down here. He's actually was solidly winning lane in this matchup last game as well. It didn't matter because Impulse had so many kills and turrets and whatnot. But Gamsu, again, actually getting a lot of pressure in the matchup. 4 men top lane here. TP is not up for Gamsu, but Impact has the ulti.
Yep, and there's that style with Apollo on the front lines with this Kog'Maw trying to chunk down the turret. He's got Lulu, shield, and ultimate to rely upon. Shen also can be called down. So sitting on the front lines. And Adrian would be the counter engage.
4,000 gold lead for Team Impulse. Bottom and outer about to go down, though this gold lead going to start to get shredded away a little bit, and there's still an outer turret in the mid lane waiting for Team Dignitas so they can get a decent fight in. So the gold can get closer pretty soon. Dragon 5 would not happen until about 39 minutes in this game if they did it on time. That's, of course, very far away, and that gives plenty of time for this Cassidy and Nidalee to stack up their recently minted Rods of Ages.
Yeah. Once again, Team Impulse in a bit of a lull, but they've already killed 4 turrets. So therefore, they have to be very strategic about the way they move in now. They got to get wards down, seemingly, if they go to invade the enemy jungler to set up for the next plays. Last game as well, Team Impulse tried to do a lot of Baron forces. It somewhat backfired on them. But this game, they have much more initiation, so I think baiting a Baron could very well be a strategy if they get some more pink ward and ward sweeping coverage.
Yeah. Again, I still think they're really going to focus on dragons. It's so much easier for them to take those and stack them. Plus, it's a lot easier for them to bait around that area and keep Impact split pushing. As of right now, Dignitas doing a good job of keeping up that vision on Baron.
Yeah, Impulse, dear Lord. Press F2, look at the Impulse vision. It's ridiculous. They have like the entire map lit up across the midline. This is ludicrous. What happened to Impulse? I've never seen these many wards. I think this is like they're as many as they bought for the entire season. Like,
well, that's definitely
that's slight
definitely
hyperbole.
not true. But in a single game, it would be interesting to check. We'll have to get the numbers on that for sure, at least per minute. The ward pacing, 2 upgraded trinkets in their soul lanes and 2 sight stones on their jungler and support. So really maximizing how many wards people are doing. Definitely 4 people on in this game capable of hitting ward cap the entire time, just based on their items.
And I think Apollo's going to do the same route. He has not gotten blue trinket because he's Kog'Maw. You might as well press R instead. This is one of those champions you can just go for a warding totem, and they could overkill on wards. Only 2 sweepers though. Mid lane under fire. Kiwi Kid able to get away safely. The problem is there's no ranged stuns that aren't Rush's Cocoon, so picking people off requires pretty big commitment.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's Impulse that are feeling the pressure right now, though. It's true. Dignitas trying to figure out what they can do with this team comp. Yes, they have this Nidalee here, but she's really the only one that wants to poke. And they're really heavily relying on a game-changing ult from Gnar. They need Gamsu to actually win them this fight by getting not only Apollo, but Gate in the same Gnar ultimate. That would delay the ultimate from Gate and give them an opening to try and burst him down, you know, cast it in to get in there. But they have a lot fewer tools, Team Dignitas, this time around.
Gamsu's been doing a lot of work in the split push game. Now, as you mentioned, the team fight's happening and the Dragon coming up. It's time for him to roam down. He does a nice job just zipping down there.
Impulse are actually just waiting for Dig to start this up. They've got the Shen ultimate ready. They can just engage them in the pit.
There's the Shen ulti in. Can they make this fight happen? Rush wants into this one. 2,000 health on Baron. Dragon Star, and the fight begins. 2-man Glacial Fissure.
Nice kiting by Team Dignitas thus far.
Agent a lot of health down to 1K. Does have Solar Flare still.
Gnar ulti,
making our down.
Gnar running out though, so yes, they were able to use a really good Braum Lucian combo there.
Rush gets Scuttle. Now they've got the Kog'Maw poke. We'll see if they can dodge Nidalee. Helios actually low on mana. They've just leveled up. He's got no mana regen because it's a Rod of Age. It's not a tier.
Yeah, I didn't really like that Shen ultimate on Rush either there for the initiation, but it's not going to matter here for Impulse. They've got mid lane pushing as well with Gate shoving it.
Yeah, I wonder if they just...
Rush going to stick around at
They
Dragon.
go to both. They make Dignitas respond. The flash stun, they get Helios! There's the ulti, what a beautiful pickoff! Apollo gets the kill! Into the back line goes Shifter, but there's not enough damage coming through. He survives with the face, the mountain shield. Another catch on to Gamsu, down to half HP. Rush still around, looking for a bit more. 2-man Gnar ulti buys some time, but Dignitas forced to run away. They lose 2 kills. That is a Dragon or something for Impulse.
I think
they're going straight for Baron.
Yeah, straight for Baron. That initiation was just so cool from Team Impulse. Flash Cocoon into their second range stun on their team, the Leona ult, and just chaining it straight onto Helios. Once that happened, the fight was mostly decided. Great play by Apollo as well to focus damage on.
They are going to lose out on the Dragon here, maybe though, because Gamsu was able to use his teleport to get down here. They will interrupt the Dragon training, but Baron buff is going to be such a big tool for them to push down some of these secondary turrets. Impulse trying to actually catch this wave in the top lane.
I think they get it.
Without even having to go back. They do have teleport still on Impact.
Yeah, I mean, they saw Core and Gamsu take down the Dragon right there. They know these guys will not be here in time, home guards or not. So, turret number 5 for Impulse.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit more about Elise. And people have been discussing, what exactly made her so strong. And of course, in the last patch, she got a whole bunch of different little buffs.
Yep.
But one of the biggest things to me that I realized when I started picking her back up again is one of the previous buffs that she got several patches ago, where the missile speed on her Cocoon was increased from 1450 to 1600. You cannot dodge that unless you're really quick on your flash or you're scripting or something. So the flash and Cocoon here from Rush, as long as you have good aim, it's extremely difficult to dodge those Cocoons now. With that missile speed buff still remaining, plus the addition of all the extra damage buffs that she's recently gotten, and the duration increasing, that initiation there was beautiful from Impulse. Rush and Adrian combining.
And nicely done, Impulse, the mid lane, the mid game power, almost 7,000 gold ahead here. Baron buff on. They should be getting at least one more turret here. It'd be surprising to not see more. Got enough shields to give to the Kog'Maw. Yeah. Leona may not be able to keep people alive that well, but Face the Mountain helps certainly a little bit. Plus the Aegis probably going towards Locket. Provides actually about as much health as the Janna would.
And Team Impulse hitting a pretty powerful point right now. Void Staff obviously on gate as well. They're going to be trying to siege this up. This is one of the hardest turrets to defend. One hit on that turret, the shields are gone. Also, it opens up for some pretty dangerous flanks. If Rush wanted to go in that way, he can also buddy up with Impact. With that being said, Dignitas is not even trying to defend that turret.
No reason to try here. Inhibitor turret's much more likely to be defended. We're going to set their defense up. How much damage can they do? Apollo actually going for the enemy champions, but
I mean, they didn't even have Caston there at the start. They're getting the whole thing right now, and the fight!
And it's gone, and there's the stun, and there's the engage. Kiwi buys a bit of time, jumps away, actually will survive for now. And there's a Gnar ulti, they catch Apollo. Is the burst enough? He's trying to get away. Lulu ulti catches herself, actually, not the AD carry, but there's still some follow through. One kill traded on both sides. Shifter gets out, Core JJ does not. And a Glitterlance long range picks up the second kill of the battle. Inhibitor's open, Inhibitor's there.
Wow. In that fight, Adrian stunned Shifter after the ultimate, and before he could get off his Force Pulse to follow up the Gnar ultimate. He was on that, knowing what was going to be coming in. Team Impulse with 2 dead on the enemy side are really looking to push this one for a fast win.
It's going to be an Inhibitor and now a Nexus turret going down. They're staying in the 4 versus 3. They're missing Rush, but they don't seem to care. The engage on a Kiwi but no! Apollo gets the Rampage, but the kill still goes back to the other support. Gate dies for this one, and an over-aggression maybe? Only Helios left alive. 1 versus 2. There's minions here, but there's so many respawning. Apollo's going to die for this one, and Tech's going to be next. And yes, an overdive by Impulse. They should get this kill. Can he dash over the wall? It dashes up now.
Yep.
Gets away from the slow. Good. But he doesn't run as fast as these guys. They've got move blocks too.
Run away from the brush.
Oh, the slow's in.
Yeah, he's going to get the speed boost too.
Yeah, Mercury Tread's reducing the duration of the slow.
He can.
Another
no
wall!
speed boost there.
Dashes up. He can get over this one. He's fine. All right. All things said and done, a 4 for 4. I believe, but many turrets picked up the Inhibitor as well. Impulse, of course, far in the lead.
Base completely broken. Apollo builds from a pickaxe to an Infinity Edge after that fight.
Love it.
So he got a little bit stronger. Based on the results of this one. Yeah, I mean, this was just Team Dignitas being out of position at the very start. Caston was hoping for a flank, but no one was there to defend the turret. And here's the interesting thing. Gamsu was hoping for an Gnar, actually gets a pretty good one. Watch the follow-up. Shifter goes in, and Adrian's like, what you gonna do? Instant stun. Gives Apollo time to flash away and delays enough for the Lulu ult to come in.
That was even the exact Gnar ultimate that I was looking for, onto both Gate and Apollo. But the damage wasn't there to immediately follow up, and Gate was able to get his ultimate off on Apollo, then the Shen ultimate off was on Lulu, so nobody was really in danger there. It's just too little too late for Team Dignitas. That was even with a lot of stun stacking, a lot of crowd control stacking them from Impulse, as the Cocoon and Taunt and Leona all hit at the exact same time on Kiwi Kid, the least ideal target.
What?
And they still came out ahead.
Well, Apollo gets to run fast.
Oh, Shifter! Taking so much damage trying to run away, but the chase is back on. Shen ulti comes in, gets a stun onto Gamsu. It's a pretty tanky Gnar. Top Flash comes in, doesn't catch much though. Tags Helios. but it doesn't matter. It's a summoner spell down, but keep in mind, bottom lane inhibitor is dead. There's minions flooding in, and mid lane itself can now be pressured.
Pulse diving a little bit hard right there. See if they can get in to push this inhibitor, but I feel like they're far enough away from base and invested so much in that they're probably just going to go prep the objectives.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's up in 30 seconds, so clear some of this blue side and head on over there. Inhibitor will still be down. Super minions will march into the base and keep Team Dignitas occupied.
All right, so no big rush in this game for Team Impulse. They could have gone really greedy, looked for the mid lane. They choose to, as you say, play for the objectives, play for things that are a bit more secure. Dragon 3 on the field in 6 seconds. A couple of recalls come through to buy their last few items, but this might be the attempt at a game-winning push now for Team Impulse. Red respawns. They just saw the blue away. Look at the red now as well. And now Dragon's up.
Yep. Take Dragon, then take Baron after that as well. Pretty easy pickings for Team Impulse. By that time, Shen Ultimate will also be available. So, barring a very big snafu from Impulse, looks like they are looking to make this a 2-0 start to the best of 5. And
It's been a much better game for Team Impulse than Game 1. They jumped out to a larger early lead. They picked a less defensive team composition. They also had a solid pick there at the end for Gage.
Yeah.
Knowing exactly what Shifter is going to be trying to do with Kassadin. They're exposed it for the lane weaknesses, and they're also really punishing Team Dignitas for their somewhat lack of damage.
It was actually something the analyst desk was looking for as well coming into this game. They wanted a more aggressive support, you know, to work with the Elise pick.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Impulse did. And then they switched the defensive duties over to the mid lane.
All right, well, here's the push right now. They want Baron Nashor. Can they find the pick, though? Kiwi Kid does get taunted up. They just pile the damage into the support. He flashes, jumps away, stays alive. And actually, the support will live, all said and done. The re-engage a bit of slow from Gamsu. Yeah. Dignitas just stopped the Baron.
There's one thing Team Dignitas has done well this game. It has been kiting at the front end of team fights, but it's the re-engage that seems to be crushing them again and again. Rush with some flank position. Here's a re-engage.
And Core JJ slowed down by Chilling Smite, slowed down by Rylays, can't get away. A solo kill for Rush. That could be the game-winning pick. Out goes Shifter, slowed down, runs away, Rift walks as well. So that's going to leave open space for Baron Nashor. No teleport for Gamsu, no AD carry, no mid laner. It's theirs.
Yeah, so a nice job of Team Impulse not really committing to the Baron, knowing they had a lead, and peeling off the communication, which has been one of the Achilles heels for Team Impulse. Most of the split seems to be pretty clean with Gate in the lineup in these few games now. They've had the 2 weeks of prep time with him for scrims. It's looking pretty solid for Team Impulse here.
Even his individual performance
has improved.
Yeah.
That was also one of the things we were looking for coming into this matchup, though. Shifter, one of the least punishing mid laners to play against, if not the least punishing, always, aside from a few games, having a negative CS differential at 10 minutes. It was definitely the case in this game, with Gate having an advantage over Shifter.
We did see Dignitas changing their style up a little bit, though. I said, okay, well, Shifter, you played a hold-the-line default mid laner, just fighter guy and playing Victor. Now let's go for Kassadin, go for the heavy roamer, go for the big plays.
Yeah.
You know, go for a skirmishing bottom lane as well, so they can really scrap and find some picks. That, unfortunately, did not work here for Team Dignitas, but now the battle will resume. No Lulu yet in this fight. The battle begins. Rush knocked around a fair bit. Agent also taking a bit of damage, but still there's plenty of durable tanks to buy some time. Gate has joined the fight. Ulti knocks up a few, and one kill already comes through. The kill goes for Agent, now one for Apollo as well. The chase down continuing a Shifter. Also going to drop a double kill for the Kog'Maw. 3 picked up. Into the base they go. This should be the game for Team Impulse.
All right, that started off as a 2v5. Yes, and they were unpunished. They kill 3, lose none. They're refreshing this inhibitor. They're probably taking 2. And like you said, probably taking a 2-0 lead in the series.
All right, 37 minutes and 30 seconds. A bit faster than the last time around, but it's a much more convincing win, all said and done. 16-9 in kills. The Nexus will fall. 2-0 start for Team Impulse. They are 1 game away from the semifinals.
Close to having 2-3-0 back-to-back playoff openings here for both the EU and North America.
Yeah. If you're going to have 3-0s, today would be the day, though. It's Seed 3 versus Seed 6. It's a bit to be expected as far as the lineups are concerned, the matchups are concerned.
And if you're looking at a team you do not want to play in the first round of the playoffs, it would be Team Impulse. They were basically a game away from being first place in the NALCS and having a bye. There was that huge log jam at the top of the standings. And unfortunately for Team Dignitas,